Drum roll, please. And the results are, for the most part, I will say successful. We do have some plants that were rather disappointing, and that's okay. It was still worth the effort. I got a lot of plants, more than I could use, so I'm not mad at this at all. So let's start with the least successful group is here. We've got May apple. I don't see anything in there. That is this one. We've also got Passiflora incarnata. I do see a plant in there. I am hopeful that that is actually the Passiflora incarnata, but we'll have to wait and see. We've also got pointed leaf tick trefoil. I do see a little tiny dot of a plant in there, but I don't know. I'm still going to leave this to see if anything will come of that. And then we've got the Viola striata, and I do see a couple of plants in there, but we don't know if those are actually it. We're going to wait and see. But one thing that is noticeable is that those are all of the containers that are smaller. And all of my larger containers that look like this were all successful. So I have a theory that that is part of the issue. On top of that, I will say that I didn't do it like how I was supposed to do it. You really should use these as close to when you got them as possible. The longer you let them sit, the less likely they are to germinate. And you also want to make sure that you keep them in the refrigerator until you're ready. And I definitely kept pulling them out. So I didn't do everything I was supposed to, but I'm still happy. So let's skip these. I'll take you to the next set. That they are, although they were successful, they are small still. So we've got Verbena hastata. These are super tiny. We do have leaves on the trees now, so I really am going to try to move these now to a sunnier location. I think that's part of the problem, is that they're not getting enough sun. Then we've got shooting star. And we might have some grass or something mixed in there. But they germinated pretty well. They're just very, very tiny, and they're not ready to be transplanted. The Packera aurea was not as good of a germination. There's some in there, but there's not a lot. Then we've got Eutrochium purpureum, which is our Joe Pye weed. I say that was pretty successful. They're not ready to transplant. And remember, you want to have 2 sets of real leaves, which are the leaves that sprout after your first set of leaves. That first set of leaves are considered fake. So like how you only see 1 set of leaves on these, those are not considered true leaves. So 2 more sets of leaves and you're good to transplant that. Or some people say 2 inches tall. But okay. Now over here, these are successful. They just look smaller. There are a couple that weren't good in here. Like I put the Opuntia humifusa in here, which I'm very sad about. This is the prickly pear cactus. And as you can see, there is something right there, but I'm questioning whether that's actually that cactus or not. We'll see. I'm still going to leave it. Then we've also got Chelone glabra. That was not successful. I see none. And Iris virginica. I do see a couple of plants there, but that looks like goosefoot. But we're going to wait and remain hopeful and see if those are any good or not. And then we've got Phlox pilosa. Although there are not a lot of plants, these were successful. And I need to plant those out ASAP. This is really past time to do that. These are about 4 inches tall. And I keep smashing them down by putting the top on them because the pesky squirrels keep coming over here playing inside of these containers. Okay, what do we have over here? We've got blanket flower, which I just grabbed the seed heads and put them in there. And if you can see, oh, look at that. It just is germinating directly from the little seed head. But that was successful. There was creeping thyme over here. I've had much more success by just growing these in the house. That looks like I might have one, if that's even creeping thyme, but we'll see. Culver's root. That was successful. They look like grass, but that is the Culver's root. We've got world milkweed. That was successful. So if you look at that, that has 2 sets of true leaves. The second set is at the top. So, like that one would be considered ready to transplant. We've got Prarie drop seed. I say it's semi-successful. There were a lot of seeds that I threw in there. We did get germination, but I expected to get a lot more plants than this. But it might have a lot to do with the fact that I waited 2 years to plant these. So, and on top of, like I said, I was not keeping them in the refrigerator consistently. But it still was successful. We've got little blue stem. That was successful. We've got Asclepias tuberosa, aka butterfly weed. That was very successful. We've got black-eyed Susans. That was successful. And as you can see, these are really past time. I need to plant those out. We've got Carex blonda. I say that was successful. Not that many plants, but there's more than enough for my little tiny yard. And I also planted some Indian paintbrush in here. That's a plant that is like parasitic. I believe it's called hemiparasitic, where it requires a carex to kind of leach onto to get some of its nutrients. So you have to plant those together. So I don't know if any of these are the Indian paintbrush, but when I go to plant them out, I will put all this dirt at least the top 2 inches of soil together with this so I can keep it just in case there is some Indian paintbrush that is still going to germinate. Here we have Monarda didyma. These are tiny, so same deal applies. I'm going to put these in more sun, in a sunnier location, in hopes that this will grow up some. Then we've got Lanceleaf coreopsis. This was successful. Over here we have GM trifolium. That was successful. I need to plant this stuff out. And this one is Baptisia australis. This is one of the ones I'm very excited about. I can't remember, but it seems like I had to like boil the seed or do something crazy, and I was thinking it wasn't going to germinate. And they're so beautiful, but look at all of them. And I don't have anywhere to put these. It's really ridiculous. And I hope people let me plant stuff in their yard. But then we got Dahlia purpurea. This is really, really pretty. It looks like a plant that you can kind of use in place of lavender, but it's a native plant. But it's a legume. It's a clover, and it's got these beautiful purple flowers. And this is that annual, the sedum pucellum. These are way too big. I need to plant these somewhere ASAP. But this is another one I am super excited about. This is wild lupine. They don't look like they would be native to me. They look very foreign. They're so pretty, even now. But I'm definitely going to figure out somewhere to plant those because I love that plant so much. This one, too, I'm excited about. This is common ironweed. and you can see the hole. Don't be like me and use your string trimmer trying to cut the grass near the container. Move the container. Don't be lazy like me. But that was successful. I don't have a lot of places to put it, but that's fine. I don't care. I'll figure it out. Like I said, hopefully my family and friends will let me plant things in their yard. And then we have purple coneflower. That's just ridiculous. Is that too much sun, you guys? I think it is. It looks like it to me. But yeah, that is too much. It looks, I don't know why I always think of food every time I see a lot of leaves together, but that looks like a salad. Okay. But yeah. And then I'm happy about this too. This is columbine. And that did well also. And now for a seedling separation demonstration. I'm going to separate some Virginia bluebells that I winter sowed that are right here. This nice green fluffy goodness here. What I found is I like that the soil is a little bit moist. It makes it easier to pull it apart, in my opinion. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of water on here on the soil. Now I have extremely sensitive skin, so I don't like to kind of put my bare hands in the soil, but I like to be able to feel the soil as much as I can. So instead of regular gardening gloves, I'm just going to put on some plastic gloves. And going in with my garden knife. So there may be more seeds that want to germinate, but it is the beginning of May and I need to get this stuff in the ground ASAP. And these are big enough. Generally, you want to wait till there are 2 sets of real leaves or the plant has gotten about 2 inches tall. But as you can see, I'm just kind of cutting around these plants that I want to plant. Now, if this would have been a lot of plants kind of together, where there's like tons on top of tons, I would probably be a little more careful, but not too careful. But I just want to get this cut in enough area where I can grab this with my hands and kind of pull them apart gently. And if there were a lot, I would leave some stuck together. And because what I found is if I'm too careful, I end up ruining the plant when I can just plant a clump and just have a couple together. But I'm grabbing this at the bottom as much as I can. This looks like a couple of plants, but again, I'm not going to be too careful. If I can't separate this, then this will just be one plant. If it's not easy for me to separate it. But I'm just kind of gently going in between my fingers with this, and if it doesn't fall apart easily, I'm not going to force it. Okay, there's one. See, it just fell. I'm not pulling or tugging. Okay, so I got 3 plants out of that. Now I also grabbed this kind of tray from me buying plants at another time. I'm just going to dump these in here just to make it easier for me to get these to where I want to plant these, to my planting location. Again, being very, very gentle. And I'm going to plant these immediately. So basically the same technique, and then that's it. That's all you got to do. So all in all, I say this is a successful winter sowing season. Though hopefully you guys had a good season as well. Don't be like me. These are all the plants from last year. Winter sowing season that I didn't plant. But if not, take it and share it with your neighbors, share it with your family, share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor on your way out. Hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. All right, guys. See you next time.